Oh, there we go. We flicked the lights off on the detailing bay, and instantly we found a respray. When I bought this car and realised the combination of a manual gearbox and a V10 was going to be electric on every drive, every mile that I did in this car, I was completely forgetting that sometimes I've got to drive into London. I'm just letting that car transporter park up. We have made it, and made unbelievable time as well. It is still a shock to the system to be sat in London rush hour traffic in a manual gearbox, but nonetheless, a rather pleasant journey. You might have to bear with me in today's video. I'm not 100%. For the last 5 days, I've had some pretty aggressive flu symptoms, and whilst I've been testing negative for COVID, I have been self-isolating just to make sure, and also give myself more time to plan the start of this project. And what that means is, well, this is a 13.5-year-old car. It will have some hidden secrets. So we're starting here at Envian Motorworks in London, where these guys are going to do a full detail and inspection on the paint to try and uncover whether this car has had any resprays and whether there are any imperfections around this car. So let's head inside, meet AFA, because these guys are absolute specialists when it comes to the exterior and interior condition of the car. I think it is safe to say most times that I come down here, we are greeted by a number of brand new supercars, and I was a little bit concerned, being an R8 V10, a sub 50 grand sports car, it would kind of get overlooked. But actually, looking around here, there are some incredibly special used cars. We've got a BMW 1M there, we've got an Alpine there, there's a Civic Type R behind, which is probably quite a special example, and then in the lounge we've got an M3 CSL as well. So I don't feel out of place at all, and I don't feel like I don't belong here. That R8 very much fits in. Oh, there we go. We flicked the lights off on the detailing bay, and instantly we found a respray. And a pretty bad one as well. The next stage is the blue tape. Now the blue tape comes out to find the real imperfections on the exterior of the car, and I've seen many a car here. Actually, a lot of them have already gone through the PPF process, so there isn't that much blue tape dotted around on any of these cars. However, it is now my car's turn, and it is safe to say, I think in approximately 1 hour's time, there might be quite a lot of blue tape on this car. It's a 13.5-year-old car, and the thing is with these, they obviously started at approximately 110,000 pounds. They've depreciated below 50,000 pounds. So someone that's buying it at 50,000 pounds is not going to take as much care as someone that bought it new. So what I want to do is rejuvenate it and treat it as if it was an 110,000 pound car. So the blue tape is coming out, and it's coming out in full force. You've probably run out of blue tape, haven't you?
Yeah, we certainly have. Yeah. We've gone all over the whole car. Obviously, we've washed it, decontaminated the vehicle, and now we've kind of inspected the vehicle for defects and road rash and stone chips, kind of getting an understanding of what's happened to this vehicle in its lifespan.
Is it safe to say that in 13.5 years it's not had PPF?
No, it's had zero protection. I believe it's probably lived outside London, country lanes and some motorway driving, because you can have similar cars with similar amount of mileage. They will have stone chips here and there, but not as much as this. Yeah. So a lot of this could be motorway being too close to cars, and country lanes, I think. There's no dents, there's no physical damage, it's just
like wear and tear.
It's wear and tear, yeah.
And I think
This is, I mean, look, you've had, I mean, these could be from quite big stone chips, but a lot of these will be getting in and out of the car.
Yeah. And when you consider Michael's 992 Turbo S after done 150 miles, and to see the road rash, and to see just how much that can affect the paint, for something that's probably been exposed to the elements, been driven for 54,000 miles over a decade and a bit, like,
it's expected. And at the same time, don't forget, black is very unforgiving, so it's going to highlight every single defect, where if it was a little bit of a this was silver, you wouldn't see half of the defects on the car. It's very forgiving.
So I knew the condition of the car there or thereabouts. Now that we've seen all of the blue tape over the exterior of the car, I think it's now worth trying to find out whether in this condition we can actually do anything with the PPF, whether we can get a machine polish on it and clear up some of the imperfection and defects on the paint. I've got a funny feeling that putting a PPF on it currently is not going to be a good idea.
No. Okay, so we've gone round, we've inspected our vehicle. I think there's 2 or 3 options. Is this car, can this car be repaired for PPF in its current state? No. We have a lot of used cars in here, and we do go through stages of stone chip repairs. If the bottom of the arches behind the front wheel and the rear wheels, they're normally they've got road rash to a point where there's not much paint left on there, but that's a very small area. That can kind of be, you could do a quick smart repair on there.
That is actually sacrilege.
And this is actually, they've sprayed this satin.
Yeah, I know.
It's not gloss.
Yeah.
So I think,
unless they've just sanded it down.
What I think has happened here, I think this whole area has been scraped.
Yeah.
And I think it's
like
taken
a curb or something.
Yeah, a curb, and I think it's taken the paint off clean.
Yeah.
And somebody's just done a quick fix.
Yeah. Okay, so PPF out of the equation in its current condition.
Yeah.
In theory then, with all of the paint defects, I could just enjoy it as it is and run around the Scottish North Coast 500, stone chip heaven.
Not care about the car.
And almost be not that precious about the paint.
Correct.
But eventually, obviously, over the ownership, I do want to look after it, and I want to get it back into a position similar to my Murcielago, where it's attractive as a saleable automobile.
Oh, 100%. I mean, it's a beautiful looking car.
Yeah.
The Gen 1 R8's they've got a soft spot for me, and I always love them. I think they're a beautiful car. And as the years are going by, they're becoming timeless. The shape is beautiful.
I agree.
So, yes, investing into a full body respray is definitely an option. Or if you want to go down a cheaper route, you could, like you've done with your previous vehicles, get the car wrapped.
I kind of like the idea of eventually respraying it, and I was umming and ahhing about a satin PPF, because then you've got a satin black R8 with a beautiful metallic paint underneath.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you could get the get it all restored and painted, and then we could apply satin PPF. We have 2 types of different paint depth gauges. The body is the same. Yeah. The difference would be this will actually read the whole thickness of the primer, color, and clear coat. Okay. And the other one we have, the other fob I have, it will actually give you the individual layers. Oh, so when I'm wet sanding, or if I'm polishing, or if I just want to know how far to go and how to be careful, I will bring the other fob out, and that will give me the exact measurement of the clear coat that I'm working with. But because we're inspecting to see if there's any damage, I'm just going to get a general. With this, it will give me the complete thickness of the 3 layers. I don't need to go to that much detail. This is fascinating. I've never seen anything quite like it, and I actually would have liked to have done this before I bought the car, just to see whether there had been any sort of cosmetic resprays. But Afa's going around now, and by the looks of it, he's not shouted at me, so fingers crossed. We're going to get the thumbs up. Yeah, I can see 114, so we're just going around the other side of the car. But it is a fascinating process to see what this car has lived through
over its lifespan. And as Afa said, this car was resprayed in Audi, most likely with robots. I don't think Audi's paint R8 hand done like some of these cars that are around here, but it is very interesting to get an idea that he is going to town. You can see just how in depth he goes when it's all about the detail, it's all about bringing the paint back to its absolute optimal.
Yeah, it looks all original.
Perfect. That's better actually than seeing the stone chips.
Yeah, there doesn't seem to be any resprays. The only areas that I think, like we're saying, would be the front bumper, and possibly tiny little bits on the side skirt, but that's, you know, that's very common. But on the actual body itself, there doesn't seem to be any resprays or fillers or any damage. There seems to be no damage at all.
Okay, well that's pretty good. I feel like I've learned a lot about this car in the last 5 hours or so that you guys have been operating with it. I feel like it's gone into a very, very clinical hospital to get a full overview and diagnostics on the exterior of the car. And I mean, I was to be expecting the stone chips, the scratches, the general wear and tear. This car definitely needs some TLC.
Yeah, 100%.
But to come here with this car and get you guys to just have a look at it almost straight away from picking it up. I'm really happy to have done it, but I now need to drive it home, so can you remove all of the blue tape? Because at the moment, it looks like it's got, you know, when you got a spot on your face, you put a little bit of toothpaste on and a bit of tissue.
No, it's fine. We'll get everything off for you, not a problem at all.
Amazing. Well, Afa, thank you very much for inspecting the car.
Fine.
This will be here for PPF at some point. We're going to go on one hell of a journey with it, but there is a lot to come. But thank you very much for taking me through this car today, and I'm sure in the future there's going to be some exciting stuff to see.
No problem at all.
Awesome. Well, there we go. Whilst these guys, and I will probably help as well because I am partly to blame for the amount of blue tape that is on this car, just because I went and bought the car that I fell in love with. But this is the thing, this car is so rare. A V10 manual in black, it was a no-brainer. You kind of have to pick your battles when buying a car that is this old now. So I kind of knew that the paint was never going to be in perfect showroom condition. So it's one thing that I'd put and budgeted for in the ownership experience that I was going to have to sort out. And these guys have just emphasized just how much it needs sorting out. But actually, the reassuring element is, whilst it's not the end of the world, it's not going to be a complete disaster, it means I can just go and enjoy it as it is now. And these guys here are absolute legends. They are so clinical. They're also so thorough in the way that they go through the cars with this kind of process. And as you can see, there's a whole host and variety of cars here. So it's really interesting to see. You've got a Civic Type R over there. You've got the 997 GT2. You've also got a Aventador S. And last week they had a bloody Pagani Zonda here. So they've got some incredible stuff here, as always. And like I said, I was a little bit nervous about bringing this in because I didn't know whether it was going to be the cheapest car. They were going to look down on it for being a sub 50 grand R8, but the guys have absolutely smashed it. It has been a super interesting journey, and it really begins from now, because I still need to find out what bloody aftermarket exhaust system is on this car, and then I want to take it to SB Race Engineering so they can get it up onto the ramp. And the one thing that I would probably advise if you are looking to buy a used car is do all of these checks before you actually buy it. But I quite like doing it this way around. Provides a little bit more entertainment for me, with the camera, and hopefully you guys. But I will see you soon, guys. Take care, goodbye. Head into the link in the description to check out everything that these guys offer in terms of services, car care, and just all around being an automotive phenomenon.